Good morning, everybody. Fiona Pearman and Kate Bora. And for this month's International Women's Day, we've been talking about and thinking about systems and how they operate, and in particular, what it means to have good allyship, male allyship, and what's going on beneath the surface. And we thought it would be a good idea to dive into understanding systems, what's going on, what do we mean by that, and also why being system aware matters. And I think, Kate, as we unpack this whole area, it's important to understand that systems mean everything that's contained in the system. We're talking about the people, the processes, the beliefs, the cultures, the policies. And systems are part of everything in our world. We are part of multiple systems. We have families we're part of, that's a system. We have organisations, and the organisation, even within the organisation, there are teams. We've got community systems, and we've also got political systems.
Yeah, I think it can be really useful to have this context. We often talk about being self-aware, and many of us had lots of conversations. We've done some great videos on that, so head over to YouTube and check those out. We talk about being other-aware, so other people aware. And again, lots of us do work in terms of emotional intelligence in that space, but equally we're often highly aware of other people's emotions, reactions, behaviours. This third piece around being system aware is very much around looking at the context, the environment that you're operating in. And I think it's really valuable because it's a piece that we don't often think about. And when you can start to have a new lens of the system, and as Fee said, the system includes the processes, the people, the cultures, the policies, the context, the environment that we're operating in. It starts to help us understand the forces that are at play, right? To get new and different perspectives, to see how things are connected and interrelated, how things respond to each other, how people respond not just to each other, but to groups of people or activities in the system. And so I know for me personally, it helped me get more curious about what was going on. It helped me be less judgmental because it started to give me an understanding that actually behavior of particularly other people isn't necessarily a function of just their thoughts, their beliefs. It was a function of their reaction and their connection and or relationship with the system that they're operating within. And so I think for me, it really helped me see the bigger picture, judge less, and get more curious.
I love how it expands our capacity to see things that previously were somewhat opaque or invisible to us. I guess what I learned with this is it shone a light on things that I kind of felt were there and felt were going on, but it allowed me to see what was really going on. And when we can see the full system and what's happening, and when we can understand that interrelatedness and we can include things, even things we may not love or we would, in our normal humanness would reject. But as you said, we become more curious and we judge less. And I think, look, a good example of this is a lot of people will say, oh, I don't like office politics. I don't want to get involved in office politics, or I avoid all that office politics stuff. And just noticing a resistance to something that is generally part of most organizational systems is something to get curious about, because what we know is that actually what we term office politics, some of the difficulties, dynamics, the tricky, sticky, clunky things that are going on, when we dig beneath the surface, there's a great deal to understand and appreciate that when we stop judging it and curiously inquire what purpose it serves, why is it there, why is it part of this system, we see a broader context, we see more of what is happening, and from that broader perspective we can make different choices and different ways of navigating our path forward.
Yeah, I think a good example for me of the benefit of applying systemic awareness was there was a point earlier in my executive career where I was in a room at a table where there was some really inappropriate conversations. I was the only female exec on the leadership team, and I was also the youngest. And I remember being in that room with my boss at the time, and kind of walking away really disappointed and, upset that my boss didn't call out the conversation, didn't stop the discussion. And so really disappointed, and behavior that I would have actually expected from him. And so it was curious. It was hard for me to kind of understand, and I felt quite frankly disappointed and let down. When we apply systems thinking in a systems lens, we kind of start to see that how someone will operate in a one-to-one relationship with us, a one-to-one dynamic, will be different when they're in a group dynamic, because it's just not the other people, right? There's accepted beliefs, there's ways of doing things, and there's a whole lot of other dynamics at play in that context that mean what I would expect or how I would experience that person one-on-one is different to how I would experience that person as part of a group dynamic. And so none of that makes what he did or didn't do right. But it does help me understand the behavior. And I know personally when I can understand it, it allows me a little bit more freedom with how I'm going to respond to it.
I love this piece around we lose our attachment to right or wrong, which is very much often ingrained in us from an early age that there is a right and a wrong way. And what this system perspective, this system awareness enables us to do is to start to understand and to appreciate that there is some bigger forces at play. There are some things going on here that rather than be naming it as right or wrong, I can get curious about, and then I can actually do more. I can identify paths that are going to serve me and work for me in certain contexts. And I think, a good example of this is was coaching an exec a few years ago, and really incredible leader, very well known for their vulnerable leadership, able to bring the team with them, high engagement scores, really productive department, everything kind of firing within their team, and well recognized for that. Also needing to present and to advocate and influence at a board level, and found that taking her vulnerable self into that environment was actually not well met. That system was operated very differently, had different dynamics at play, and worked in a different way. And once she was able to see that and appreciate it, she could then still hold all of the good things within what was important to her and meet that system where it was at that time, being aware of what was going on and really holding all of the dynamics at play without getting attached to it having to be a certain way. And watching the power of that and watching the power of navigating some of these different systems, I think really it's such a gift to be able to do this and to do it well, which is why we include so much of this awareness in the work that we do, both in our corporate work and working with all sorts of organisations, but also in our Public Women in Leadership program, Acts of Confidence.
And we're going to leave it there. If you've enjoyed today's confidence conversation and you know someone in your network who'd benefit from it, we'd love, of course, for you to share it or tag them in the comments below. If you'd like to see more of these conversations, head over to our YouTube channel, subscribe there, literally hundreds of videos in various different playlists for you to dig into, including the conversations around self-awareness that we've done recently. And clients who have been through our Acts of Confidence program who share their stories. That's in the client playlist. And if and when you're ready to go deeper with your relationship with core confidence, visit our website, coreconfidence.com.au.